a new episode on the Moment of Truth with Laomi Wainwall. Today we have a branding and communications expert who has worked with many brands across industries nationally and globally, including Facebook, Dark and Lovely, and many more. She also runs a non-profit organization called Ingressive for Good, which empowers young African tech talents who need to reach their full potential through learning. Let's welcome Blessing Abeng.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, how has your day been? What have you been up to?
My day was interesting. So I'm learning a new language because I feel like when you try to learn a new language, you just get a different view of the world. You know how like with friends, things are like upside down from how English sort of is. Yeah. So it's super interesting. That was
Wow.
literally how I spent my day, and then having lots of meetings.
How do you do it?
So to be honest, I I ask for a lot of help. I never pretend that I do it all by myself. So thanks to tech, I automate as many things as I can automate. I set structures. It's always important that I know like when is this happening. Thank you, Google Calendar. Google Calendar is going to alert me and tell me, oh, Blessing, you have this thing to do right now. And then I'm going to sign up and go do it. And then I ask for help really. So people help me maybe make food so that I
Mm.
can do my work, or someone else is probably helping me take another call just to ensure that I'm here right now. So I just try to ensure that I don't do everything all by myself. One period I was super sick. I was lying in bed right there and life was moving on, while I was laying in bed. So I'm just like, whether you're here or not, people are going to find their ways to do things. So you have to optimize your process. And so that was when I started taking delegation seriously, automation seriously, and like, learning to say no as well. Like if you ask me for something and it just didn't fit with my time at the moment, I wouldn't hesitate to say no. And it doesn't mean I hate the person. It just means like right now, it's just not a good time.
So, have you had time to spend with family and not just your colleagues?
So what's super interesting about like my family is that we kind of have very good understanding. So my partner is super understanding. He also gets really, really busy. So we found interesting ways around like our lives. So for instance, we could both like intertwine, we could be cuddling while working. So maybe we could just intertwine our legs while working. Or he would ask me a question and then, we help each other out and just see how we can support each other to ensure, we finish our work on time. Super, super fun. Like we find ways to watch movies. We passively watch movies while we're working, and then eventually, we stop it and we're like, okay, for the next 3 hours, it's just me and you, and then we'll probably have ice cream and watch movies. It's just like very, very understanding.
That it's good to find that balance, to have a bit of time for yourself and a bit of time for business. So, on black and white color, I noticed that your website, your social. Oh, by the way, I love your social media page. I think it's just mwah. It is so clean, so professional, and I love your style. I love your style. I thought I knew, fashion, but hey, I hand it over to you.
I oh
So tell me, what is the story behind the black and white theme?
I don't know if you believe me, but this is actually literally what happened, right? So I never used to take social media seriously. Like I was so busy working on clients' pages and like doing things for my clients that I never really paid attention to my social media. I just, take you on a journey with me to maybe Zanzibar, or if I was doing something interesting in my life or I was eating something interesting, that's what I take a picture of, right? And then, while trying to figure out stuff on my clients page, one of the interesting trends that picked up in like 2018 was people using presets and a consistent filter across their pages to ensure that they had the same vibe, tone, feel, and it made pages more appealing. I tried, it just was so stressful. It was like I'm already stressing myself for like these four other brands. Why do I have to do the same thing for myself? Black and white was like the perfect filter, it's like you don't have to do too much, you don't have to stress yourself, and it's like it hides quality when the quality isn't that great, and then it enhances quality when the quality is amazing. So as I was saying, yeah, I always wanted to be like a ladder or like a catalyst to help people achieve their dreams. And I I think everybody needs a level of support. And so like that was super, super important to me. And so when I started pushing black and white, everything worked out, everything fell into place. And then I just thought, if I was to describe my personality, I'm fun, I'm vibrant, I'm outgoing, I'm like a ball of sunshine, and yellow would just be like an amazing color to describe me if I was to add a color.
It's really nice. It's really nice. So you create your content yourself.
Mhm.
Wow,
Completely.
that is impressive. Where did you learn that from?
I studied medicine. No, well, no, I was going to study medicine and I studied biochemistry, right? I was really well on my way to becoming a medical doctor. I was really serious about this stuff. And, while I was in university, I just always in fact, before I got into university, right, I was one of those kids who I studied both science and art courses in secondary school. And so, teachers fought over me. I was leader in science club and leader in arts club. I won essay competitions and I won science competitions. I was wow. I was smart, When I got into university, I just took that energy with me and I was like, okay, you know what? People would come to me and say, oh, Blessing, I have this really cool idea that I want to do. And I'd be like, okay, on a structural level, have you thought about X, Y, Z? Have you done X, Y, Z? And I'll be super serious about it. Then I'd ask them creative questions. So a friend of mine looked at me one day and was like, listen, I think you should go to this branding school called Orange Academy. Like they just had a partnership with some people from Netherlands. It would be interesting. Try it. I'm like, okay. I wasn't really serious about it. It wasn't something I was taking very seriously. I was already writing business plans beautifully. I was giving people ideas like without necessarily charging money. So I really went to this school and oh wow, it was like I was home. And so we learned all these things about branding, but I was more drawn to the strategy side of things than the actual design or, beautifying of anything. I loved stories. And so it just came like I just took the courses. I became super good at it. I started working at an agency. I worked with designers, worked with content people, worked on international brands, national brands, worked with startups at some point, worked with nonprofits at some point, and just like
Wow.
really learned some things for myself. So that was where really I learned like how to create content, how to because I'm consistently improving. I never really compare myself with, oh, what is Uche doing or what is Shaniqua doing? I don't care. Like I just know, okay, those are really cool stuff. But like, what has Blessing done today, and what did Blessing do yesterday? So like, have I grown? Have I improved? Am I moving somewhere close to my goals? And those are the things that really, really matter to me. And I think that must have played a big role in me learning how to create content.
You're doing some great work. So, how were you able to get your first break into your career? You're a branding and communications expert. So, how did you break into your career?
I graduated one of the top, like I think I was like top two, and people really loved me already. So, we already had faculty members who were part of agents. I really know that I sound like I'm some sort of genius, which I am, but it's just like, but it's like, it really happened. I'm not really like making this up. It actually did happen, right? I'm smart. Just like, I think when this interview is done, that's all you need to know that I'm smart. So I was top two, and I was super good at strategy. As I said, I used to come up with like out of the box ideas that you'd look at me and be like, how did you really think about that? And so like all these people who were part of the judging panels, and they all worked at big agencies. They were all part of big things. At this time where I was, rounding off the program, I had already taken. I already had a job where I was supposed to be working as a social media manager. But the person who I was working with said, in his exact words, Blessing, you seem to, understand my vision even a little bit more than I do. So I think you're the best person to head this team, right? So I will be promoting you to assistant manager. I know I hired you as a social media person, but you have to be my assistant manager. So you're going to spearhead this project and you're going to lead it. And so that was what I was already doing. And every bit of the process of my learning, I was just, practicing it with these people, like taking all the ideas and, implementing it with these guys. And so, like 1 year after, I was like, okay, guys, thank you so much for this amazing learning opportunity, but I really need to go, right? And by this time, I didn't necessarily have any like opportunities or whatever, but I knew I wanted to work at an agency because like with agencies, you get to work on like a broad range of, campaigns, you're challenged, you have to, pitch and all of that. So my friend, another friend, just was like really pushing me and nudging me and said, you have to work at our company, you have to work with us. And so she fought for me like with their boss. I'm like, there's this really smart girl that I just met at this school, and she would be a great addition to this company. And so right off the bat, they hired me, just spoke to me once, the lady loved me, she loved my hair, we didn't even talk too long, I got the job. I don't really have any like really difficult story or like something I suffered. I suffered, but I didn't really suffer, like a lot of things just fell into place because I was always focused on I had to give my best every single time. So I never really cared if like my audience didn't look like, they could do anything for me. I would just give my best, no matter what my audience or who my audience was at the time. And somehow somebody important would always be sitting in the midst of those people and notice my work, right? Or even if someone important is not there, someone who knows someone who is important would be there and, go fight for me somewhere else. So that's how I got my break. And my very first couple of months, I took risks that I wasn't supposed to take. So I've always also been a rule breaker. So here I was, in this new company where everybody already had their ways of doing things. And I just came in and I was just like doing things I wasn't supposed to do. Not like sometimes, which is not really good now that I think about it, but we have this process when you needed to take approval from, like your line manager before you made particular tweets or said particular things. But like social media was so fast paced, and at this time, banks were very like strict on social media. They just come and give you the report of the day and then they bounce. But I wasn't going to do that. I was making banking interesting. I was demystifying finance. I was gisting with people. We grew to 100K followers. And then, right after we grew to 100K followers, we started this whole campaign around, using Game of Thrones to teach people about finance. It was just like super interesting. And I really grew. Like immediately people could notice my work. Immediately I could like step into places and people would say, oh, I know who that lady is. And it was like a great time. But I also had to work extra hard to not get too comfortable about like, oh, this is working for me, so I have to keep doing
Yeah.
it this way. Yeah.
I love, you know what? I love that you're very confident about your successes. Many people they feel that it's not appropriate to brag about your achievements, but I think it's okay to share what you've achieved. And that is the problem that we are experiencing in the Black community because we hide our achievements, we hide ourselves. We feel that, oh, I don't want to come across arrogant or, you know,
Exactly.
boastful, but it's what we have achieved.
Exactly. But here's the thing I always tell people is like, it's not bragging if you can back it up. It's like, if someone asks me, like, are you female? Right? I'm female. That's not like bragging. It's just like saying, am I wearing yellow? Yes, I'm wearing yellow. So am I smart?
Exactly.
Yes, I'm smart. Did I do this thing? Yes, I
Yes.
did. Can I show proof?
Yes.
So as long as you can show proof, as long as you have track record, don't underestimate what you know, don't overestimate what other people know. Just be like,
High five.
blow your trumpet.
High five to that. I love that. I love that.
As a black entrepreneur, you need to be strategically placed in your industry to be successful. And one of the ways of achieving this is by working on your strengths. What is your strength? What is your passion? Build on it, harness it, and make it work. As an actor, being personable and engaging made me stand out throughout my career. So go now and work on your strength and be successful.
I know you've worked with different brands, Facebook, Dark and Lovely, and many more. I've lost count. But what do you look out for in your clients before you work with them? What do you look out for?
So this is an important topic. It was one of the conversations I had with one of the foremost graphic designer globally, Morjanda. He has done work for like Disney, Apple. He's super famous.
Right.
we had this conversation. Everybody has like difficult clients, right? And it took me a while. Like sometimes you have clients that you have no choice, but to take. And then the clients that, after you get burned once, twice, you begin to, know rather after you experience different types of clients, you begin to know, oh, I like this, no, I don't like this, oh, I can take this, no, I can't take this. And once you spot things like that, maybe you experience like a very bad experience, don't just like wallow and be sad and walk away. Next thing you have to do is go put up the structure that's going to protect you from bad clients like that. If you experience something that is super beautiful, that you super love, go and put up the structure to ensure that you can attract people like that. So one of the ways that so first things first, I never pitched my ideas. Like in the agency world, a lot of people come to you and say, oh, hi, I like you to work on my brand, come and pitch, do a proposal, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, oh, cool. I'm only going to tell you, only going to propose my process. I'm going to tell you, this is how we work. But I'm not going to give you any ideas. Not because I don't have them. It's just that every minute I spend with you and give you ideas, there are ideas you can go and execute on your own. But for me, I don't want that to happen to me. Except I don't care about maybe I care about the idea, but I don't really mind. So I could share it with you. But if it's an idea that I super care about, and I know that if you implement this thing, it's going to be great for your business, but you should pay me for it, I'm not going to pitch that idea to you. I'll pitch my process, and then when you pay, you will get the idea. That was like one of the key things that stood out for me growing up in my career. And the second one is, while you're having conversations with people, you can already guess how they are. Well, you may not be able to guess, but you can, you can feel it, like it's either like if someone is condescending, it will come through. If someone is disrespectful, it will come through. If someone is warm, it will come through. It's like dating. I tell people, don't feel like because you're a service giver, don't feel like you're in a powerless situation where you don't have control over the relationship. You and the client are dating, literally. Well, not like dating, but like it's a relationship. So you're both having this first date where you're trying to figure out, is it going to work, is it not going to work? Believe them the first time. And if you already made the mistake and you signed them on and it's not going well, have processes or procedures in place, things that can checkmate you, for you to say, oh, we've tried, it's not working, adieu, like goodbye, or it's working and I mean it's not working, we can't do this anymore, here is a refund. And these are people who will be in a good position to take this project forward. But how right now we're saving our clients down, we only have a certain number of opportunities. Like I can only take a couple of clients per month, and sometimes per quarter. So I'm like, those people have to be picked very carefully. So first, I filter by price. I also filter by attitude. I also filter by type of project. If I have two people and there's one project that's going to give me so much more joy than the other, I'm going to pick the one that's going to give me so much more joy. So it's like, those are like different filter systems I currently have in place, but you can think about the things that are important to you. And always remember that saying no is not necessarily a bad thing. Saying no is like saying yes to a different opportunity. So if you don't say no to this, you will never have access to the other thing. And don't feel like you should beat your prices down to accommodate people, because this is a very important one. Thank you for asking me this question, by the way. People don't understand the concept of a customer. And this is where my branding and my communication part comes into play, right? Your customer is not the person who needs your service. No. That person is just an audience. The person just needs your service. The things that make your customer a customer or potential customer, these three things. One, does the person need it? Yes or no? Hopefully, yes. Is the person willing and able to pay for it? So because you might need it, but you might not be willing or even able to pay for it. And so therefore, you're not my target customer. You're just an audience that I can create content for, but not necessarily like put hopes in you to buy from me. So I'm not going to put too much effort into marketing to you when I know you can't afford it. Right? I'll just like have conversations with you because I know you're going to be an amazing evangelist. I will do my best to touch your life in the best, most affordable way, or even create like tinier services, like maybe ebooks, like 15-minute consultations, or like other things that can, touch your life Yeah, but my main service will not be your concern. I wouldn't stress you with it because I know you can't afford it, or you might not even be willing to pay for it. And then the third thing is, can they pay for it again? So Apple understands this very well. That's why every year they release new products because they know an iPhone 11 user is going to buy an iPhone 12. They know an iPhone 10 user is going to upgrade to an iPhone 11, and then the iPhone 12 user is going to buy the new AirPods Pro and the new headphones because you can buy it again. What kind of life will it be if my audience, like my customer, cannot afford to buy my service again? Like, how am I supposed to eat? As a business, how am I supposed to pay my bills? So those things are important. Yes, yes, yes. Care so much about your customer, but you also have to care about yourself.
So, have you ever turned down a client?
The clients we turn down just because like we're at capacity for the quarter or for the month, and so it's just like, so sorry, like you might have to join the waiting list. There are clients that we've turned, like we were working with, and then we were just like, we love you, we do, but we might just not be the best for you anymore because now our prices are now this, and we also have like so much to do, and we really want to give you the best, though, but just like right now is not just the best time, just sorry. And maybe, and probably just because we've had like a very bad experience with them and we just want to cut it off, right? And if I would put like a ballpark number, I think we've turned down at least 10 clients, at least. I know we've turned down more, but let's just give that 10.
I keep thinking that that plant behind you is going to fall off.
No, this guy is rooted, like well rooted.
What are your top favorite brands that you've worked with?
Number one on top of the list is like my baby. So I was CMO for a short time though, but I was CMO and co-founder of a beautiful tech company called Disha. And the job of Disha was to, help creators out there build one-page sites in less than 15 minutes. It was like building a website with, it was like building a website like you were posting on Instagram, that kind of thing. Oh, I loved working on Dark and Lovely. Oh my God, Dark and Lovely was such a cute brand. I just loved the idea of hair, the idea that we had to, play with hair, do hair stuff. It was beautiful. And then Black women, black hair. Oh my God, it's just so beautiful. And we had all these beautiful events where we would hang out. I miss Dark and Lovely. Oh my God, Dark and Lovely was such an amazing brand to work on. Weirdly, okay, no, that wouldn't be my number three. My number three would be a film festival called Lights Camera Africa. So every year for the last 10 years, they have done film festivals. So she started that festival in her room with her friends, just watching one film. And, she said this could become something. And since then, she started having like 1,000 capacity filling rooms per movie. Like it was so beautiful. One of the topmost weekenders we used to have back then in Lagos. But COVID happened, and so we couldn't have this year's festival. It's so painful. Number four would be like a collective. I can't. It's just so hard. So I have worked with a lot of artists in my time, like fine artists who draw, design, paint, sculpt, and to be honest, artists are the most beautiful people to work with because it's like they're so creative. So they just give you all those creative freedom. Like they just tell you, oh, these are all the beautiful things I want to do, and and then they go away. Like, just can you achieve it? Yes. This is what I want. Are you sure you can do it? Yes. And then they just let you fly. And that was so beautiful. One of the most interesting artists I ever worked with was Lemigarioko. He was Fela's album designer back in the day when Fela was alive. Oh my God. He's such an artist. He's like 60 something right now, but he's such an artist. He's so young at heart. He's so passionate about Africa. Which is now my current baby, is Ingressive for Good. So it's a nonprofit, and the main goal is to like empower African youth through tech to help them, increase their earning power. And we just started like last year. Branding was amazing. Communications, we literally just did it for like 3 months. And in 3 months, we were everywhere. International press was reaching out to us and saying, hi, we like what you're doing. Come, let's, interview you. We had all this, like, we had partnerships with Coursera, we had partnerships with Data Camp, we had partnerships with Facebook, we had so many partnerships. We were able to train over 10,000 people we were able to, we have like a community of over 20,000 people, which has grown right now. So I don't know the exact number. We're just like on fire. So maybe next year, if we have another conversation, it would be interesting to tell you how far we've gone. Maybe I'll be saying things like we now have 200,000 people in our community.
So, is there anything that you've taken for granted in your career?
So I wouldn't say taking for granted. Well, I wouldn't say taking for granted, I'll take two things, right? But not taking for granted. There's like, I wish I took them a little more seriously, right? So number one will be building relationships no, not building, but like sustaining relationships intentionally. Because it's so easy to like make friends, make connections, but like sustaining it, that's where the work is. And it can be stressful. It's like you have to follow up, you have to check on a couple of people. It's not even stressful, it's just like it takes a toll. And the second thing that I took for granted was, because I was busy doing stuff for everybody, I never really paid attention to doing stuff for myself. And that was like one of my biggest learning curve in 2020. I think it was, I just only started posting on social media, like seriously, with like about myself, my brand, what I know, what I can share, how I can help people in 2020. So as at January 2020, I had like 5K followers. I only had 5,000 people following me. And now I'm like, oh, wow, I have 22,000 followers. Where did all those people come from? It's so weird. I didn't think it was going to become that. Like, I just always wanted to be able to swipe up so that like the user experience for the people who follow me would be better. So when you just hear my stories, like get this stuff, you could just swipe up and get. So just like, I'm comfortable with 10K, but so far so good. It's like every other week I'm getting like another 100 people following me, another 100 people following me. So it's interesting. But like, I just wish, yeah, thank you. So I just wish like I had taken that a little more seriously, where I was like sharing my knowledge, because again, we have the tendency to underestimate what we know and overestimate what people know. So like, I just wish like I did that better. But then enough about wishes. I'm doing it now, and I'm going to keep doing it for a while. So like, if you're like me and you never really used to pay attention to like sharing the ideas that you have, the knowledge that you have with people and adding value to them, you still have a chance to change. You can be better.
So, you are Nigerian.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, and you used to stay in the US and then you relocated back to Nigeria.
I stay in the US was brief though. It was like really brief. It wasn't like long. It was like it's less than a
So,
year.
what part of your culture do you admire?
The art, I can't overemphasize the art. I love the art. Like the art in Nigeria is beautiful, and I wish more people could see it. Like the Benin art, the Yoruba art. Like art is beautiful in Nigeria. I also like the food. Can you tell that I really love food? I love food. Oh my god, I love food. So if you've ever been to Nigeria, at least try jollof rice. Like if jollof rice. Jollof rice is the least you can do. And then if you want to be a little bit more adventurous, go on to pounded yam. There's so much, there's so much to try. And the people, I think the third one will be the people. The people they're so diverse. Like that diversity that exists, it's special.
So, if I wanted to take you out today and say, you know what, Blessing, let's just go and chill and have a good time and just enjoy the day, what would you like to eat?
A buffet. You are going to have to take me for a buffet, because I haven't perfected the art of eating just one thing.
So, in terms of content, what do you think is more important? What you say or how you say it?
How you say it is so important, because like it doesn't matter what you say at the end of the day. What matters is your audience. Do they understand what you're saying? And the only way they can understand is how you're saying it. So at the end of the day, everyone comes into play at particular times, because even if you say something super nice, like that doesn't have context or sense, your audience will smell the bullshit. So try your possible best to have something smart to say, but also say it in the best way possible for your audience. How I learned this, no, not how I learned this, but one of the most practical examples of this in my life was when I was teaching my audience about consistency. So I've been talking about consistency, like I always give tips and everything. But the one time that it stood out for everyone was when I talked about brushing your teeth. Like, people just kept telling me, oh, I don't know how to be consistent. I've never been consistent at anything. And I'm like, but don't you brush every day? And they're like, oh, yes, I brush. And I'm like, so if you miss brushing one day, and I'm very good at like using analogies, like very relatable analogies, right? So just like, if you miss one day, will you forever like stop brushing forever? You just be like, oh, I'm never going to brush again. And they're like, no, you know. And I said, what will you do? They're like, the next day I'll probably brush harder. I'm like, exactly.
I love the way that you use this very little examples to illustrate, what you mean. I love it. I love it. That shows creativity, and that is why you are an expert in what you do. Well done. Well done. So, in contributing to your society, how have you? What are you currently working on?
So right now, I am director of communications at University for Good, and that's like the biggest project. Well, yeah, like that's the biggest project I will be working on this year because like the goals are high. I really, really want it to work out. We need to train 1 million people. We need to, impact the African economy, and the only way we can do that is by impacting the African people. And so we're going to ensure that we give people the most, like we give them the best that we can, give them the best technical training that we can afford to ensure at least 1 million people that they can be placed in jobs, to ensure that those people can be placed in jobs so that they can earn more, so that they can contribute positively to the economy, and so they can contribute positively socially as well. So that's like the most important project to me this year. I'm putting all my energy. This doesn't mean that I am not doing other things. It just means like this is my primary focus and it's like my baby. So if you're willing to support me, find me, we're taking donations. We're totally happy to take donations.
Perfect. And they can do this online.
So like just find me, right? Like find me at Blessing Abeng underscore, or find me, like send me an email, blessing@ingressive.org. Just find me, like reach out to Ola and just tell her that, oh, you're looking for Blessing. Allow me. Just tell her you're looking for Blessing. She'll direct you to where I am. You can visit the website, ingressive.org, has all of the information, right? Our goal is train 1 million people, and we literally this year we just need $1 million, right? Which is literally like $1 per person that we want to train. So please find us, give us money, and we will show you proof. Like, one of the key things that I really love about Investing for Good is how we always report every phase, right? So at every phase we're reporting, we're telling you this is what we did, this is how we did it, this is how much we spent. So you would always know where your money is, always. And you'll see the people. Like one of the most interesting stories for me in 2020 was the lady who used to sell liquid soap to support her family. So she didn't she didn't have any laptops. She was interested in tech, but like situation around her just made her sell soap. And then, we found her. She applied to a program that we were partnering with, and then, we gave her a laptop. And just right after we gave her the laptop, she began to like perform exceptionally well. She became an exceptional coder. Now she just reached out to us and told us she got a job as a back-end coder. And we're like, yes!
No, do you have a knockout advice for everyone right now? What is the knockout advice you can give?
I don't have a knockout advice for you, but all I can tell you is if you have anything that you're really thinking about doing, right, you're not going to get better at it by just thinking about doing it. You're not going to get better at it by being scared to do it. You're not going to get better at it by just, doing it in your mind, but not doing it physically. So if you want to get from point A to point B, all you have to do is start. So don't romanticize the idea. Don't romanticize the idea of starting. Like, don't romanticize the fear. Just stand up, do it. Start.
Stand up, do it. Thank you very much, Blessing. It's been awesome. If you'd like to know more information about her work, stay tuned.